Be Wealthy and Smart, episode 1195.
Step into a world of wealth and financial freedom without budgets, boredom, or bosses on Be Wealthy and Smart. And now, here's your host, Linda P. Jones.
Welcome to Be Wealthy and Smart. I'm Linda P. Jones, America's Wealth Mentor, empowering women and men worldwide to financial freedom. On today's show, we're going to talk about this survey that was done where real estate turns out to be the favorite investment. And why wouldn't it be? It has been the best performing asset class for at least the last 24 years. Now, real estate sometimes gets a bad rap because lately some people are trying to say it's not worth it to own a home, but I disagree. I think owning a home is one of the best investments you can make. And that's because even if you didn't have appreciation as strongly as we've had the last 24 years, you would still have a forced savings program. So the forced savings program is when you're paying down your mortgage. You're saving money and it's accumulating. You go out and you borrow $300,000 and then you pay it off. Now you have a forced savings program that accumulated $300,000 for you. So whether or not you have appreciation on your house is frosting on the cake. Hopefully we will. And over the past 24 years, we've had phenomenal returns where so much wealth was created by owning your own home. I hate to see people talked out of it because of this philosophy that it's better to rent. I think the powers that be or the powers that are buying up real estate might think that that is what they want us to do because they want to own all the real estate. But I won't go down that rabbit hole. We'll talk about what this article has to say, which is that real estate's lead as best investment shrinks and gold rises. And basically, it's saying that there was a survey done. 34% of Americans chose real estate, which was down from last year's record high of 45% choosing real estate as the best long-term investment. And that's understandable. I mean, first we had prices escalate like crazy during the pandemic, and then we've had this sharp pullback in many cities, not all cities. But many cities have had a bit of a pullback in their real estate. With interest rates going up, it's made loans harder to get. And frankly, people don't want to part with the low interest rates they have on their current loans. And they know if they sold their property, they'd have to go out and get a new mortgage at a much higher interest rate, and they'd pay thousands and thousands of dollars more in interest because of rates being so high. But my opinion is this isn't going to last forever. I believe this is a pause in the long-term real estate cycle and that the cycle is going to pick back up again. I do think inflation is going to come in much lower than people expect because there was a lag time from when the Fed started to raise interest rates until we saw the results of interest rates really kicking in and pulling inflation back. Now we're going to see lower inflation and we're having more unemployment, which is another thing the Fed looks at. So we're seeing a weakness in the economy that I think is going to allow the Fed to pause. And if you look at what happens after the Fed has hiked interest rates very quickly, there's been a decline in interest rates that have happened on the other side of that. So they raise rates very quickly, they're very concerned about inflation, and then they get to the top of that mountain, and then they're all of a sudden, we did too much, too fast, got to run down that mountain, pull back those interest rates a little bit, and away we go. I think real estate has another boom ahead. That's just my personal opinion. But I think over the next few years, we will have interest rates come down, which will cause one last big speculative boom in real estate. Meanwhile, according to this survey, gold has become the next most favorite investment, which is almost double over what it was in 2022, when 15% surveyed voted that they thought gold was the best investment long term, and today it's 26%. So 34% voted for real estate as number one, 26% voted for gold being their second long-term best investment. Where do stocks show up on this chart? Well, they're in third place. And they got 18% of the vote this year, which was down from 24% last year. And that's also on the lower end of the range since 2011. The next favorite investments, savings accounts and CDs, 13%. And finally, the least favorite investment on this chart were bonds. Interestingly, they took cryptocurrency out of this survey, but they did show where they had added it in for a period of time. About 4% of Americans voted for cryptocurrency as their favorite investment, which was down from 8% last year. They speculate that some of that was from the FTX debacle, and part of that is probably due to Bitcoin's price continuing to be down by half of where it was in 2021. But cryptocurrency tends to continue to be one of the favorites from younger adults and middle-aged adults, aged 18 to 49. The article also points out that in contrast with the correlation between owning stock and one's belief it is the best investment, Americans' views of real estate as the best investment are not tied to home ownership. Renters are statistically just as likely as homeowners, 33% renters, 36% homeowners, to say it's the best. The other thing I would note from this survey is we haven't seen gold voted this high as a best investment for a very long time. Of course, in 2011, when it had a lot of price success and movement, it was voted very high back then, and the year after. But since then, we haven't seen it at the levels that we see today. So more people are excited about owning gold and believe that it's a good investment than have for a very long time. The other thing that's notable here is that stocks and mutual funds are near a decade low in terms of the belief that they are the best investment, which could mean that they are poised to outperform for the next decade. Usually the one that isn't expected to be the good performer is the one that becomes the best performer. And I happen to believe with inflation coming down and interest rates coming down that yes, we have some economic challenges, but earnings have been really strong for stocks. And if they can do that in this environment, when we come out the other side and things start to pick up and get better, then profitability could just surprise us on the upside. If you haven't yet subscribed to Be Wealthy and Smart, hit the subscribe button and you'll be notified as soon as new podcasts are available so you never miss one of them. And all of my podcasts are on my website in the Wealth Mentoring Library at lindapjones.com/podcasts, where any number of topics can be searched for and found to help you get to financial freedom faster. That's all for today. Until next time, live the good life and be wealthy and smart.
Thank you for listening to Be Wealthy and Smart with Linda P. Jones. Share the wealth and tell your family and friends about the show. Check out our website, blog, and social media for more riches at www.bewealthyandsmart.com.